Hey, shalawam. First off, we'd like to give all praise to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. Double honors to the kinetic elders of GMS. Shalawam and greetings to the brothers in this country and all over the world who are prophesying in the true name of what you people ignorantly call God in Christ. The true name is Yahawah bahasham Yahawashi. Shalawam, Salak, and those who are scattered abroad upon the four corners of the world, prophesying in that name, right? Upon the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, which consists of these so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and anybody who derives from that side, on their father's side. Shalom. All right. Yes, as you can see here, we're doing a show labeled Trump labels the IRGC terrorist. Well, it's like Trump labels the IRGC terrorist. All right. Basically, what the IRGC is, it stands for the Iranian Islamic you take it over. Republic.
Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps.
Salak. Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Now that's a part of the government, of the Iranian government, which you can compare it to like the National Guard for the U.S. All right, so it's like that. That's the comparison you can compare it to. So what happened is we have an article here, and this past week, again, Trump labeled that part of the government, the Iranian government, terrorist, right? And vice versa, the Iranian government named the American terrorists. But this is a big deal because, like we always said through the scriptures, that we're in the last two Trumps, and the last two Trumps consist of what? World War III and the RFID chip, which we're in the midst of those two already. So we're in those second Trumps already. So again, this is a big deal because if you're labeling a country terrorist, then what's after that? Okay, they're not gonna make up. They're not going to try to be diplomatic. There's going to be war. There's going to be war between Iran and the American government, like we've always been telling you through the scriptures, through the Spirit of our Lord. All right, and again, we have articles to go into that, and we'll go into it, but further explains that now Trump is saying he doesn't want, if any other country does business or with that part of the government or Iranian government, right, they're going to be labeled terrorists themselves or co-conspirators with the Islamic revolution?
Republic.
The Islamic,
is it Republic? I think it's Revolution.
Revolution, right? The Islamic Revolution Guard Corps. Okay, again, which is again the National Guard of that country.
Yeah, Revolution.
Revolution, okay. And the thing is also that the ironic thing is that part of the RIGC, they were actually, we have proof that they were actually fighting terrorist organization themselves. Yeah, I guess you can start reading.
Right. This is from the IranProject.com. The title says the IRGC, which is the Islamic Republic Guard Corps, says IRGC always in front line of fighting terrorism. Now you go down to what paragraph is this? The second paragraph. It says quite clearly. It says he said that the IRGC, unlike United States and its regional allies, who have always supported so many different extremists, right? Because that's what they do. They fund. It's called proxy wars, where the government they fund a certain group to fight their wars or do what they want to do, and they could just stand back and have plausible deniability, right? It says he said that the IRGC, unlike the United States and its regional allies, who have always supported so many different extremists, right, like Al Qaeda, and what else? Al Qaeda and all these other.
I forget there's so many Al Qaeda.
Right.
Well, there's so many.
Every 5 years they have a new
different name.
ISIS. That's the ISIS, right? It says
which will you read that again?
It says he said that the IRGC, unlike the United States and its regional allies, who have always supported so many different extremists.
Yeah, what that means is that exactly what it means that what, unlike just like in the United States, they were always funding, like the brother just said, other so-called terrorist groups. And if you go down the rabbit hole, you're just going to find out that a lot of these so-called terrorist groups, they're linked and linked to the CIA, of the American CIA. You know, they basically work for the CIA. That's called, you know, proxy war, so to speak, where you set up like a front. You set up a front, right?
Fund them.
And fund them. And the front is terrorists, and the front is Al Qaeda or ISIS. They all come from America anyway. So that proves that they're. Why else would they support them and fund them with money if they weren't linked to them? They are linked because they're giving them money.
Right. And they're training them.
Yep,
You know?
training, yep. Supplying weapons.
Yeah, yep. So it says, he said that the IRGC, unlike the United States and its regional allies who have always supported so many different extremists, separatists, and terrorist groups in the West Asia region, have made a lot of efforts combating the three evil forces so that they achieve valuable success to defeat many of those terrorists such as ISIS and Daesh, it looks like. Right, so it's telling you, unlike you motherfuckers, we've been fighting so-called these terrorists. When you support them and supply them and train them with all type of weapons, man. You know, so that's what. That was a quote from this motherfucker. Who was this guy? The Iranian ambassador in China. Okay.
And it's no coincidence that he's in China, because why? China actually backs Iran. Also, Russia backs Iran. You know, those are the three major players that are support of Iran and do business with them. And guess what? The people that do business with Iran, again, Trump is saying they're going to be labeled terrorists themselves. You know, so we're just proving through the scriptures that World War III is coming, and that's another prelude, another example or proof that it's coming. Okay, because you people need to wake up and see that it's here, man. And you know, this is going to be the last of world wars. Again, this is prophesied in the Bible that the Most High is going to bring this, man. He's going to bring World War III, which is prophesied in the scriptures, and the Lord, our Savior, is going to interrupt that war and save the elect out of here. So this is good news. You know, this whole society and the makeup of this society is going to change really soon. You got something?
No, yeah. So yeah, that's why it says in Ezekiel. I was trying to find it where it says Gog and Magog should be a guard unto them, meaning all those smaller nations. I don't know exactly what it says that in Ezekiel, right? But it says that Russia, because Russia is really the main,
they're
the main opponent, main opponent to America and NATO, right? But Russia, they're the ones that have the support or supporting these smaller nations like Iran, Syria,
ones,
Iran, Syria, and all and most of those countries over there in the Middle East, Turkey. I think America's allies with Turkey, right?
Yeah.
So, but they also support, you know, the bigger ones like China, you know. They support like I said, the smaller ones like North Korea, you know, and all those other countries. But the main player is Russia. So Russia has been funding these smaller nations with military, with money, you know, to build up the military. That's why it says Gog and Magog should be a guard unto them.
It's in Ezekiel 38:7.
What does it say?
See that?
Yeah. Well, it says guard unto them. Well,
Yeah.
it says Magog earlier, right?
Okay.
But then if you jump down to 7, Ezekiel 38:7 says, "Be thou prepared."
You want me to get it for you, or
I'll read it.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
over here. It says, "Be thou prepared, and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company, that they are assembled unto thee." Right? Because earlier in the verse it says, verse 5 it says, "Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet," and that's what right? They're all aligned together, right?
Yep.
All those countries or certain countries in the Middle East, they're aligning themselves with their big brother Russia to get that backing, militarily, financially, right? And if you jump down to 7, it says, "Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them." And that's exactly the job of Russia, aka Magog, Gog and Magog, to be a guard and protector to those smaller nations like this one, Iran. That's why Iran has no fear of America. Why? Because they're backed up by Russia. You know?
Yeah, and I know. I remember this stat, and you can look it up yourself. You can fact check it. I think America declared a war in Iran in March 28, 2008. You know, so this has been brewing up for over a decade. You know, and you can fact check that to see if I'm correct. But I believe this has been brewing on for years, and they have to cultivate the story to actually set foot on that land. But like the brother said, they're a little hesitant because why? Because Russia is backing Iran fully, man. And Russia warned America to say, look, if you touch Iran, you're going to be touched, basically. In other words, all right. So again, we're just bringing it up to prove to you that World War III is coming, and the Bible is true, man. And also, what the Iranian government did, they just labeled, like you read here, they labeled. Not only did they say they fight terrorism themselves, okay? Because how are you going to call a part of a government terrorist when they were they were fighting terrorism themselves, okay, and doing more damage than what the U.S. was doing. And at the end of the day, really, the Iranian government, if they're fighting the terrorists, remember, all those terrorist organizations work for the American government anyway. So they're really fighting against, America, But the point is that what was I going to say? That the Iranian government labeled America terrorists too.
Yeah, the military over there.
Yeah. The American military government, they labeled the American government terrorists, and they're true. They're right. So I got a definition here of the word terrorist, and we can take the scripture we spirit allow. Any scriptures allow. So let me just pull it up. I don't know if we just pull up so I lost it.
Yeah. But they're right. Iran is right. The real terrorists of the whole world, ever since they come back into rulership, is America, man. None other than America. All right, especially their military, right? Which is what Iran just did. They labeled. They said, oh, the IRGC are terrorists. Okay, well we're gonna label the U.S. military over there in the Middle East as terrorists, and they're absolutely right. All right, they're the ones that are going into certain countries, specific countries, mind you, that they want to control as an excuse. Oh, they're doing this, and that. We want to bring democracy, but really, it's a hidden agenda. You just want to take over their resources
and their government, and put them in a debt.
Mm-hmm.
They're killing 3, 4, 5 stones with one allegation. Everybody's a bad guy except the United States, man. And the United States, they show over and over again how corrupt they are, man. And the scriptures call that wicked. All right, wicked government. How destructive they are. What happened when Obama was first put in office? Not even 2 weeks he was put in office. He was sending drones over there to Afghanistan, bombing innocent people, man.
And Pakistan.
In Pakistan, So we go on for days about all the dirt that America does, and they're a bunch of goddamn hypocrites, man. They've caused terror ultimately to the nation of Israel. You so-called blacks, Latinos, and Americans brought women over here to do slavery against their will, and we got to bring that up, right? Even the Iranian president years ago, I remember he made a speech, Ahmadinejad. He said, you know what? You guys always try to police the world, but you're the ones that enslaved a group of people against their will for 400 years. We don't have that on our record, and he was right. And you can't say. And then I remember, I think it was at the UN Assembly or something. The summer meeting or something. And then they showed the seats. They showed the seats of the United States, and they got up and left. And the scriptures talk about that. the wicked fleeth where no man pursueth. You're a bunch of goddamn devils, man. You know. Anyway, I got the word terrorist, and what I'm about to read is going to completely apply to America. So this is terrorism, noun, right? Noun is a person, a place, or a thing. We're talking about America, right? So it says, in the specific sense of a government intimidation. We can stop right there. Does not America intimidate other countries? Government means what? Basically, to control, right? To control. A government controls the people. So the government, this government of America, it says terrorism is a government intimidation. All right. For example, there's 193 countries in the world, and America has control or governs 190 of them. So, how did he get to that point? Well, he intimidated himself to get to that. That's called imperialism. You don't become an empire without no intimidation. You intimidate. Okay? Matter of fact, we got to go to the word intimidate. I'm not going to go that in, but anyway, government intimidation. Well, you know what? I'll take that back. Maybe I do gotta go like that. Okay, because the Apostle always says extrapolate, get everything out of there. So intimidation means intimidation is an intentional behavior that would cause a person of ordinary sensibilities to fear injury or harm. Okay. It says it is not necessary to prove that the behavior was so violent as to cause means of terror, or that the victim was actually frightened. Threatening is the crime of intentionally or knowingly putting another person in fear of bodily injury. So we'll just go with the first sentence. Intimidation is what? Intimidation is an intentional behavior that would cause a person of ordinary sensibilities to fear injury or harm. Okay? Which is none other than the so-called white man in his government. Starting with America and from the international bankers. He's the one that's going over intimidating other countries, stealing their mineral resources, stealing their, taking over their government, putting in puppet leaders. You know, hey, shalawam, brothers on the comment boards.
That was Jesus watching.
Oh yeah, shalawam, Akia. You know. Oh, okay. You know, so you got some on here,
right? This is Saint John 10:10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
it says, "The thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy."
Okay, so the Holy Bible tells you the attributes of a thief, by intimidation, of a thief, of a devil. Read that again, and that's in the New Testament, by the way.
Right.
And out of the Lord's mouth.
Yep. Red letter.
Okay.
This is Saint John 10:10. It says, "The thief cometh not."
So it's telling you right there. The thief cometh not.
But for to steal.
But that's his only purpose. He cometh not, but for to steal. So they're telling you the definition of a thief. What's the definition of a thief? Keep going.
It says, "But for to steal and to kill."
To steal is not true. America have stolen people. First of all, the nation of Israel, against their will, from the west coast of Africa, which we're not from, which we fled from around 70 BC in Israel. We fled from there in other parts of the world, in the west coast of Africa. Is it not true that America stole Israelites from that region to do slavery over here? You know what the scriptures say about that. The man steals the man, you know. I'll get that next, I guess. I'll get that. And it goes so on and forth. Stealing identity. You know, the so-called white men have stolen our identity. You have here the majority of our people, well, really all of our people, they don't know who they are. They think they're Puerto Rican, they think they're Dominican, they think they're black, they think they're African American, they think they're anything but what the scriptures call them, which is Israelites, Hebrew Israelites. So you have people calling themselves Jews, which is not even a true form of what we are. We're not labeled as Jews. That's a derogatory name. So you have people calling themselves Jews on earth who stole our identity. You know, we can keep going on about, you know, I want to finish the script, but we can keep going on about all the examples of what the so-called white man steals. I mean, he's stealing oil from the Middle East and certain regions. That's why you have all these wars going on. He's stealing oil he stole oil from Venezuela. Venezuela, just as under 10 years ago, not even, I think 5 years ago, they were one of the top governments, man. As far as oil preserves, and they were a flourishing economy. They were getting better. You know, after so many years of struggle, Venezuela was actually getting better, and America stole their resources now. Now look at Venezuela now. Cannibalism. People eating each other. But anyway.
Yep. Sorry, I said,
I didn't want to go on. Something wrong. I try to, but right there, we could go on for another half an hour talking about stealing. I just want to finish the script, but there's so many things that the so-called white man steals, man. That's all he's about.
Right, it says, I read it again. John 10:10. The thief cometh not but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy.
Is it not true that this American government is responsible for killing? How many Native Americans died over here for this land to be occupied by these rats, by these Edomites? We'll call you the right name, you Edomites. You damn devils, you Edomites, you stole the land from our brothers. The North American Indian and the Seminole Indian, which are the tribe of Gad and the tribe of Reuben. All right, you stole this land. And also you had other tribes here, all the Atlantic tribes here in the Caribbean islands and the islands in South America. You had them there too. Ephraim, Manasseh, Simeon. They were here also. You stole that land. They were known as the Arawak Taino Indians, and things of that nature. All right, but here it is in Iraq. I believe years ago, I remember the stat. Iraq has the biggest amount of orphans on earth. Due to America military action. Due to America's bombing. That's why you hear that song, "Bombs Over Baghdad." I remember, what's that group? Yeah, Andre 3000. What's that group called again? Outkast. Yeah, Outkast. That's a classic song. "Bombs Over Baghdad." I don't know if I was dealing with it Chicago or basically dealing actually with Baghdad. I gotta look into the song, but the title I'm just getting. There were bombs over Baghdad. Now Baghdad, I think, is in Iraq, but don't matter. But the point is that, well, you will fact check it? Yeah, we'll fact check it. I think Baghdad's in Iraq. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the point is that America responsible for causing over 500 million orphans in Iraq due to its bombing over there. And that's due to, I think, the past 20 years or something like that.
Iraq.
It is? Okay, yeah. Baghdad is in Iraq. Okay? So, yeah,
that's the capital.
That's the capital, yeah. Baghdad is the capital of Iraq. So, yeah, that goes back to the Gulf War, man. 92. They totally fucked up that place. So you basically have, and that's a lot of killing. What about this? It was reported over 77 million Native Americans or indigenous people of the Americas died while this damn devil, the Edomites, occupied this land called what you know as America. What about the so-called blacks doing slavery here? It was calculated that over 100 million of so-called blacks died over here. I just believe on the Atlantic slave trade. I forget what they call that trail of basically the trail where the ships went. It's a trail of blood. I forget actually where the sharks were. The sharks actually, there was so much blood when the slaves were being transported over here, the Israelites to America, that the sharks would actually follow the trail for years. I think on to this day. If not on to this day, they were following it for years, way after slavery was over, because the Atlantic slave trade was so hectic and busy, but so much killing was going on. There was so much blood being
so many slaves were thrown off.
Oh yes, they were thrown off the slave ships also. And fed to the wild creatures of the sea, which is one of them. The main ones were sharks. Okay, so we can go on for that. Obviously, right, about all the killings that this thief does, the so-called white man, and he's still killing people in this country. He's still killing people by their food, by the GMOs, by the FDA, what they approve, by the smog in the air, by carbon monoxide, by your biotechnology, 5G technology. I mean, everything this man does kills you, and ultimately, his ideology, or the mother of harlots, what he represents, right, is killing you spiritually. You know, we got to go into that, man. The so-called white man is responsible for that.
Right.
Uh-huh.
That's why they're that's why they are Iran is correct by labeling them terrorists, because they're the original terrorists, man. You Edomites. You know, we got to start calling them by
their real name. Edomites,
real name.
man. Yeah.
Edomites, right? I wanted to read. Unless
Yeah,
you have
you can,
something,
no,
I wanted to read one part from here that I found.
Mm-hmm.
It says that it says here the latest. I want to read from here. You could start.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, I'll just continue with the definition of terrorism, right? You should already have the so-called white man, the nation of Edom or Edomite in your head. Because that's your name. You're going to start calling you that, boy. Alright? Yeah, we've been calling you that.
I found
Got it?
Yeah. It says the latest anti-Iran move of Trump. This is from the same article here, or same website, the IranProject.com, speaking about America labeling the IRGC as a terrorist group. It says here, did I just lose it? It says here,
I'm going to go in definition and you read it?
yeah, I found it. It says the latest anti-Iran move of Trump received fierce reactions from Iranian officials. The country's foreign minister, Javed Zarif, in a letter to President Hassan Rouhani, called for a retaliatory move by labeling the United States Central Command, or CENTCOM, as a terrorist organization and the U.S. government as a terrorist sponsor.
A retaliatory move means what? Actually going to military action?
No. As a response to them being called terrorists,
Yeah.
they said, all right, we're going to call the United States Central Command, or CENTCOM, and the U.S. government as terrorists, man. You know? It says Zarif also called the move or retaliate.
Okay, yeah, retaliate. It means it goes back to retaliation. Yeah, which they're just saying it back to.
Right. He said, okay, you're gonna call our Iranian or Islamic National Guard terrorists.
Yeah.
We're gonna label the United States Central Command, or CENTCOM, as a terrorist organization, and the U.S. government as a whole as a terrorist sponsor.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. Well, they worded that very well. It's totally true that the American government sponsors. The sponsors mean basically to fund terrorist organizations, and that's clear. You know, that's been out there. You know, as far as in the public side.
And also, Zarif also called the move as another misguided election eve gift to Netanyahu. So they announced this right before Netanyahu was announced that he won, because Trump is always trying to make buddy or kiss the ass of Israel.
They do no wrong.
Right. So as a you know, they regarded a capital in Israel as, you know, a establishment in Israel.
Holy
holy city.
Jerusalem, I think. The Jerusalem they finally can consider the capital.
Right.
We mentioned that in the show.
Right. Which didn't sit well with the
locals.
Right. So everything Trump does, he tries to just kiss the ass of Netanyahu in Israel to make buddy with him, right? So that's what Zarif called it. The prime minister or the Iranian ambassador in China, he called that move basically a gift to Netanyahu. You know, labeling the Iranian National Guard as a terrorist.
Yeah. So just to back up what the brother just brought out, to continue with the definition of terrorism, right? A government intimidation during the reign of terror in France. It says, let's see here, from Latin terror, great fear, dread, alarm, panic. All right, so this is what America does. Now, the best act of terrorism, I say the strongest act of terrorism when America dropped the Hiroshima bomb on Japan, or you want to call it, it's called Fat Boy and Little Boy, or the Manhattan Project, when the American scientists basically, or German scientists really, which really stemmed from Einstein and another, was Oppenheimer, or another scientist, basically broke the code of splitting an atom and creating so much power from that fusion, whatever, nuclear fusion, whatever that it created like a nuclear power, atomic power. So they used that power, which proves that he is the weapon of the scriptures, like they describe him. Esau, the weapon, goes back to the spirit of Cain. That he was going to use that weapon to cause intimidation to that nation, Japan, man. They dropped the bomb and that ended it. That ended the war, World War II, the atomic bomb, and that caused great fear and dread amongst all the other nations. You know, that's why it ended. Okay, so I'll read that again. It says Latin, terror, great fear, dread, alarm, and panic. You best believe when they dropped that bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, people were alarmed, man. They panicked. You know, that was never seen in the world's history before, an atomic power like that. I mean, let alone the how Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, but we're talking about modern day history. This has never been seen. It says, object of fear, cause of alarm, terrible news. All right, which terror or terrorism comes from the word terrible. So let's go into that. Terrible means causing terror, awe, or dread, frightful. All right? And I was bringing this out. We did a show on terrorism, actually. This is why we call it the devil and terrorist, proving that Esau, the Edomites, are the devil. And even in this country, you terrorized us in slavery by doing heinous acts, by castrating the men, by raping their wives, you know, causing great fear amongst us to keep it in line in slavery. You created something called the Ku Klux Klan right after, not even a full month after the so-called slaves were free. Apostle Ramlab, shalawam, apostle. You know, not even 3 weeks after the so-called civil rights were free, or the what's it called, proclamation of with Lincoln, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Proclamation, Declaration of I'm not saying it right.
Emancipation.
Yes, Emancipation Proclamation, which means freedom, right? Not even 3 weeks after that, the Ku Klux Klan was already established.
Yeah.
I believe it was 1865, December 25th. And not only that, December 25th was the winter solstice, okay? Which proves that whole Ku Klux Klan was totally demonic, man, and totally linked to Masonry and the elites. So that Ku Klux Klan, or the KKK, was used as a form of terrorism to keep the slaves at that time in line, man. Again, not even a full month after.
It was the same month.
It was the same month, yeah. The December 8th or 9th or something like that, the so-called freedom happened with the slaves. And I do remember that the KKK was created and established on December 25th, 1865. Okay? So that's terrorism, man. All right? And they do it still. Esau and the government, or the Edomites, the American government, by the way of the international bankers, they cause terror onto this present day in the society by causing austerity measures, or by setting up false flags, events like the Boston bombing. You know, nobody wants to believe that. When we say that, they're probably going to change the channel now. But you know, you living in a world where a lot of this stuff is created by people who control you, even war. Okay, and it's really to keep your ass in line and to terrify you. Well, fear mongering. I'll say that America's involved with fear mongering.
I gotta bring this out. My
You
favorite
go
article.
ahead.
My favorite article about the propaganda law, right?
Oh yeah.
Which the government
That's
they created a law to basically lie to you, right? It was a statute that's in the NDAA, which is the Natural Defense Authorization Act, and they made it legal for the U.S. government to basically lie to the people and create certain situations to sway the public opinion, right? So let me just read this. The first thing on it. It says the U.S. government has unbound and legal regulations against using propaganda against foreign audiences and American citizens. The intention is to sway public opinion by using television, radio, newspapers, and social media, targeting the American and foreign people and control psyops. Right? So this is how they control you. They control you and your opinion by creating certain situations to benefit their agenda or whatever they want to impose on the people. You know? So if they want to so-called fight terrorism, for instance, if they want to so-called take your guns away, they will create a situation to change your opinion on guns. Yeah. Where one time you believed in what is that? The Second Amendment, the right to bear arms.
I think so. Second Amendment.
Right. Where at one point you believed in the Second Amendment, then a school shooting happens, and you're like, you know what, man. You know what? I don't think we should have guns. You know what? I changed my opinion on that. Don't you know it's in the law? They made it legal for them to They made it legal for you for the right to bear arms pursuant to the Second Amendment, but they made it legal for them to lie to you and create certain situations to change your opinion.
Yeah, I'm trying to find these people with the fourth tongue.
Okay. That song. You might not see it. I'll look for it. Okay. I'll look for it. I think God said they speak with a forked tongue. Is that a?
I thought that was a scripture.
Let me look for it.
Shalawam. My bad, they couldn't.
Go, but I'm done. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll continue with terrorism, and absolutely right, man, with what he was bringing out. And again, this is how the devil operates, by deception, by lying to you. And everything you go out and decide, he's nothing but a lie out there, man. And so again, America terrorizes its own citizens, man, by fear mongering, by putting your news to get this pill so you won't get sick, or get this vaccine shot. I think a brother just brought out this camp. If you don't, I didn't look into it too hard, but there's a disease being out, measles or something. And I think he said if you don't get this disease, if you don't get this vaccine shot, you will be fined up to $1,000.
Right.
That's fear mongering. That's terrorism. Okay. Let me finish up this definition. Then I'm going to go into we're going to go back to the scriptures. So I just lost it. One sec. Got it. Coming up.
Yeah, because I know Gad said that Esau they speak with a forked tongue when they because what they always have they say something. Yeah, well, I'm gonna come with peace, but they have a hidden agenda, and that hidden agenda is to what? Is to take you over and to control you, or to kill your ass, right?
I got some. So yeah, back to back to the word terrorism, which goes back to the word terrible, which means causing terror, awe, or dread, frightful, right? From terir, which means filled with fear. Okay, to make afraid. So I think we, pretty much made the point on that. Right. That this is what America's been doing for years, man. So that reigning government, which we don't give a damn about. We don't support. We support Yahawashi and the prophecies and the spirit that's going to befall. We support Yahawashi, man. All right, and the prophecies. Okay, we don't support no Iran government. We're just doing it for edification. But they're right on what they called America. They called them terrorists. Okay. All right. We got scripture. Okay. And like we're saying, at the end of the day, this is all leading towards World War III. All right. You don't label a country a terrorist, and then all of a sudden you make up and try to be diplomatic. No, this is going to lead to war. Like we're saying, once they step into Iran, which they already are, basically, that's game over because Russia backs Iran. Okay.
Right. Let me just read this from the Atlantic.
Yeah.
It says the new terrorism designation means anyone doing business with Iran risks criminal prosecution in the United States on charges of material support to a terrorist organization. So this is the reason why they did it. They did it to basically fuck with their money, right? As a
They did it on purpose.
Right, to mess with them financially. Yep. So it's basically them putting they already have sanctions on Iran, but this is equivalent to them putting more sanctions on Iran, because now it's preventing the Iranian IRGC from doing business with certain people or certain governments. Right now, it's well known. Right before war happens, it's a financial war.
Oh yeah.
So this is basically what a financial war between America and Iran, which was already happening.
Well, with the trade wars.
Yeah, with the trade wars, and the sanctions that they put on that they put on Iran.
Yeah.
Before any war, there's always trade wars and economic wars.
Yeah.
And this is what's happening with Iran and America, or has been happening with Iran and America. They've been going through economic war. But after economic war, it always goes to the real war, the real deal, right? Where it's guns and ammunition and real battle, man. And that's what's happening. That's why we're saying. That's why the title of the show is what's the title of the show? It says Trump labels IRGC terrorists. World War III is next. That's why we're saying through the spirit, World War III is next, man. World War III is coming. You know.
Coming. I got some real quick, because that's sneaky as hell, man. That's being by deception, and they know damn well they're the ones that control the terrorists, but they orchestrated that and planned this out, that wickedness, to label them terrorists to stop their business. And as you know, even on a low level, between two people, if you owe somebody money, if you fuck with somebody's money, right, and you messing up their income, there's going to be a fight. It happens on a big level too, man. And that's what's happening all around the world. A lot of these other nations getting pissed off in America because they're fucking with their money. And even China has bailed out America by buying out its debt. So, this place is over, man. I got a scripture here. This is Amos 6:2. It's like Amos 6:4. It says, it says, I'll start from 3. Ye that be far off, ye that put far away the evil day, and cause the seat of violence to come near. It says 4. That lie upon their beds of ivory, and stretch them. Oh wait, it's the wrong verse. I'm sorry. I meant to get Micah 2:1. Sorry about that. This is Micah 2 verse 1. I'll start from verse 1. It says, Micah 2 verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. Okay, woe to them that devise iniquity, and that plan that was devised, man. That was put together on purpose, like they always do. All the stuff that you see, whether it be a shooting in a gay club in Florida, that was already thought about and planned out. What's the proof to that? Look up something called crisis actors. Okay, when you look up something called crisis actors, it means literally what it means. You have actors that act in the time of crisis. And when you look it up, you'll see the same crisis actors in each event. You'll see the same crisis actor in the Sandy Hook shooting, right? And the same crisis actor will be in the Boston bomb attack. You'll see him in the background. One time he'll be dressed up as a firefighter. The other time he'll be dressed up as an MTA. Another one he'll be dressed up as a National Guard.
And then one would ask, well, why would our government do this? Well,
yep.
Or how can our government do this?
Well, just what you said earlier.
Right. They're allowed to do this, or they can do this pursuant to the NDAA, that new legislation in the NDAA, which is called the propaganda law. That's how they're allowed to do this.
Fine. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Yes. So the people who are orchestrating all these false flags in order to cause fear among you to follow their agenda is none other than the so-called white man, starting with the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and international bankers that are manifesting this stuff coming out now, man. So labeling the IRGC was planned, man. And guess what? There's more plans to come that ain't happened yet. Like the government shutdown, that was a plan. That's going to come back again. Like the concentration camps, that's a plan that's not pushed in yet, but they've been had the camps. They've been had the caskets for you people over maybe 20 years or 15 years now. I'll say 15 years. Or maybe longer, man. These camps, these concentration camps they're being built in front of your eyes. Well, we'll say this. Walmart is linked to the FEMA camps. FEMA and Walmart are one. The FEMA board is part of the Walmart board. You know, I think Walmart has a FEMA contract in their clause or something like that. So these Walmart, you know, they're going to be concentration camp centers. Why? Because they're what's the proof to that? They're always around. They're always around a big area where you can fly in people, or not even that. You can, but they're always on a big strip where planes can come in. Train tracks, big airplanes, ship airplanes could come in, and I forget what we call those big airline airplanes. They could come in and land. A bunch of people carted up and put into slavery. Put into concentration camps and these big layouts. You got a lot of these Walmarts are next to train stations. You know, I'm thinking about a Walmart already. The one in Walmart in Teterboro in Hackensack, New Jersey. It's right next to a Teterboro Airport. You know, right across the street.
Yeah, what is that? Super Walmart?
Yeah, Super Walmart. It's literally right across the street. So they can fly in a big airplane. They can fly in a big airplane, right? They can cart you by airplane. They can cart you by trains and put you in these concentration camps. So these things are planned already, and they devised this. Woe to them to devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in their power of their hand to do it. Yeah, it's in their power of their hand to do that. To carry out these big operations to further wipe you out, man. Which goes back to the Georgia Guidestone. You know, that's another subject. Well, not really. It goes back to the Georgia Guidestone that they want to basically bring down the world's population to 500 million people on Earth. And that the only way they can do that is by doing mass death. Mass killings. You know, there's another one that maybe you could look up. You got something? I think I could look up. Something called Article 6.1H. I gotta pull it up. It's called mass fatality. Can't say it right. Mass fatality planning or something. I gotta pull up the article, and it basically goes into. Is it comments there? It basically goes into. Hey, shalawam, you know, it basically goes into when a mass attack happens or a mass death. Let's say a nuclear bomb hits like one state, then there's a mass fatality planning where FEMA is allowed to come in and the so-called you know, they're the solution. Their solution is putting these concentration camps. I gotta look that article up. I'm not bringing it up. I keep reading this. Verse 2 says, and they cover the fields. Who's that? They cover the fields. They take them by violence. We don't need to really break that down. You know, it's obvious that Esau, the so-called white man, you nation of Edom, the only way you've been getting power is by you've been stealing. You've been stealing lands. You've been stealing. You've been covering the fields, and by violence. All right. How were you finally set up? Well, when you dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that established you as a superpower. All right, and you did that by violence. Many people died off that. You still got people suffering in the land of Japan, being born mutated with certain efficiencies with their body, man, like shorter arms or a shorter lifespan, and there's still radiation around that area. Still the concept of high radiation in that part, and you still see a lot of cases people being born in some mutated form due to that what happened over 50 years ago, and so on and so forth. It's not an accident America has army bases or military bases in 190 countries out of 193. Again, the America has a military bases in 190 countries, and there's only 193 countries in the whole world. How did he do that? By violence. He covered the fields. It says, They covered fields. They take them by violence. And houses, they take them away. They say, it says, they take away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. And that's none other than the nation of Israel. Okay? It says, first of all, the Native Americans, you stole their land like we said earlier, all right? And you oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. You do that now. You've been always doing that since America was established. You oppress a man, okay? You oppress a man by what? That you take a man, your whole thing was giving women's rights and taking a man out the house, which only the so-called, the Israelite family suffered off of that. Because you other nations and you so-called white people, you still got the father in your house. But the nation of Israel, we don't have a father in our house like that. It's very rare you see that. All right, that's oppressing a man. That's oppressing a family. Okay, having the bottom jobs. All right, racial profiling, where actually calling the so-called blacks when they were in the country 3/5 of a man. That's oppression. So on and so forth. Oh, and furthermore, it says, in his house, and even a man in his heritage. The ultimate oppression is that you oppress us by what? You beat us down by taking away our heritage, by hiding it from us, by hiding our nationality from us. All right, by putting this pale-faced Edomite vision, this pale-faced image of our Lord, and saying that that's who the Lord is. That's oppressing our heritage, man. You took our heritage from us by lying to us. You know, when the slaves were doing slavery, when the first slaves were brought here, they knew who they were. You know, but they were they beat the Bible. They couldn't read the Bible. You know, even further on down a few hundred years after slavery, when they were still in slavery, the slaves in America, they couldn't read the Bible. They weren't allowed to.
They'll kill you.
Yeah, they would kill you.
They'll beat you if you read.
Yeah, you can run.
But they'll kill you if you read the Bible. Now, why was that? They knew why, because they knew that this Bible was linked to us, man.
You know, come man. So that's oppressing a man. You know. So I mean, if you got more, we'll go another 10 minutes. We're much finished with this show, but you know, it's very clear, man, that if you don't know that America is nothing but a terrorist, basically a policy enforcer or the police force for the international bankers carrying out the agenda, basically the New World Order agenda done by a big brother or Zionist, whatever you want to call them. I like to call them the fake Anati, the bunch of devils that they are. You just work, man. Keep doing your dumb shit that you're doing in the society. Keep watching Kim Kardashian and all that kind of shit, right? And you stupid ass reality TV shows, okay? Because you people are fucking stupid if you actually believe in America and think that it's okay, man. You know, the worst kind of person to see in America is a Jake wearing an American flag shirt, man. I keep seeing that shit, man. I saw that shit yesterday driving some knucklehead Jake wearing an American flag t-shirt, man. I mean, you out of all people should be wearing shit like that. But it's just, it represents the mind of the so-called people. The Lord took away, you know, he blinded the people out there, man. Which proves, again, only the Lord, the people who are waking up to this truth, and this is what we do this for, because it's the will of their Father to wake up the elect out of here, man. While condemning you in the nations, especially from the so-called white man, because you're the wicked. All right? Hey, shalom, brothers on the comment board. Power thumb. Hey, shalom, power thumb. You know? So, hey, man, only the elect is going to get this. Only the sheep hear my voice. The people who believe in Yahawashi, they're going to hear this truth, man. They're going to see the real big picture. Because America is the mother of harlots. America is that wicked city, man. You know? That ought to be destroyed. You know?
Right. This is Zephaniah 3:8. Right? And this is exactly what's going on right now. All right? And this is all being orchestrated by the Most High. You see why all these countries and nations are starting to beef with each other. America labeling a part of the Iranian government as terrorists, and all these fightings and quarrels. That's all done by the Most High, right? So this is Zephaniah 3:8. It says, "Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations," right? and the Most High has a reason why he's doing this. The reason why he's doing this is to gather the nations, because there's a prophecy or prophecies of of it being wars and rumors of wars, and nations shall fight against nation and kingdom against kingdom.
Matthew's 24th chapter. Out of the Lord's mouth.
Yep. It says, for my determination is to gather the nations for what? That world. World war. You know?
Yeah.
For world war. Okay?
Yeah.
It says that I may assemble the kingdoms.
Yeah.
Right now, why? To all come together and sing Kumbaya? No, it's for that world war. It's to bring. It really is to weaken all the other nations, man. Right? It says that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them mine indignation, because the reason is he wants to bring all the kingdoms and military might of these other nations and bring them down to their feet, man.
That's great. I got that next.
Oh, all right.
You finish off.
Right. It says to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger.
That's right, man.
Now, how's the Most High going to do that? He's going to do it ultimately when he sends our big brother, our Lord, who goes by the name of Yahawashi, down here to what? To deliver us, man. That's the point. That's why all these fightings in wars and rumors of wars are going to take place. The reason why is he's going to send Yahawashi down here to deliver us in a glorious fashion, right? It says to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. That's going to take place. Why? How? By the thermonuclear missiles. And yes, they do they do exist.
You shouldn't even have to explain it. It's in your news in 10 minutes, every damn 10 seconds. What's the big thing now? America is trying to basically there's a nuclear arms race going on, but he's always mentioning nuclear missiles, that he wants to basically take nuclear missiles production from the other countries and stop letting them build nuclear capability.
Yeah.
He's trying to take that from them. But that's being a hypocrite, because America wants to be the only ones to have nuclear weapons, but nobody else can.
Yep.
But why would that would be the worst case scenario? Because America has done nothing but terror and harm to the other nations. That's the worst people to have nuclear missiles.
Yeah.
America's the ones that don't need to have nuclear missiles, man.
Right. Because the other nations, they're defending against themselves. Or they're just trying to defend themselves because they know fucking America is going to use it when they don't need to.
Yeah.
Because they did it already. With Fat Man and Little Boy. They didn't have to fucking bomb Japan. They already gave up. You know?
That's like someone on the block having a fucking here it is, everybody has a gun on the block, right? You're shooting or whatever. I'm just using that as an analogy. And what's a gun? 45 or something?
Yeah.
Everybody has a 45, but then you see some what's his name? I don't know, Tyrone, he got an automatic what's a gun? M16? That's a gun.
Yeah.
So I'm not into guns, so I'll just say M16, you know? And he has an M16 or maybe a bazooka.
Yeah, say bazooka.
But I'll say bazooka. He has a bazooka, and you got a 45.
Right.
What are you gonna do? Keep firing with a 45? No, you're gonna get your ass a bazooka, man. You're gonna get your own bazooka, man. You know, so that's what these other nations doing. You know.
Right. So let me finish up. It says, it says to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. All right? Meaning what? Those thermonuclear missiles are going to be used, and they're going to land primarily on America. Okay? And when it says the world shall feel the fire of my jealousy, that doesn't mean the whole world is going to be destroyed. No. Because the kingdom of heaven is going to take place on earth. That just means the thermonuclear missiles will be used, and all the earth will feel it, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Just to say this, the world's going to rock to and fro like a drunkard.
Right. It says, Isaiah what? It says, the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. So the earth, hey, there's not going to be one entity, one soul on the planet Earth that does not know or not going to feel those thermonuclear missiles when they touch down.
Yeah, you're going to hear it, you're going to feel it, you know?
You're going to see it.
Yeah, you're going to see it, you're going to see the smoke. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay, I got a script here. I will finish on this. This is Joel linked up with this one, what the brother brought out. This is Joel chapter, I might just start from 1 then.
4.
So, well, I got to start from 1. And I'll go to like maybe, I think, 12 or something. Anyway. It says, Joel chapter 3, verse 1. It says, for behold, and again, this is why this is all happening. You know, like we're explaining. Because the Most High, Yahawashi is the one gathering the nations. So it says, for behold, in those days, and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Yahawashi, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Now, the valley of Jehoshaphat in Hebrew is Yahawashi, I believe. Okay, Yahawashi, which means valley of this valley of decision.
Or the Lord judgment.
It's actually, yeah, it means the Lord's judgment. That's actually what it means. This Shabbat means judgment, I believe. All right. So, valley of judgment.
The Lord judgment.
Lord's judgment. The Most High's judgment. Shalawam. So it says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Right? Well, the Most High's judgment. Basically, that's a better way to say it.
Yeah.
It basically, what's happening now, like we're explaining, that this is the Most High's judgment going on. So that right, the word Yahawashi or Jehoshaphat proves that the Most High is causing judgment on earth and causing all this turmoil and war on earth because he's bringing his judgment, man. He's bringing that judgment, which is the nuclear destruction and the Lord coming back, you know, to carry out his judgment. I just lost my place. Okay. So it says, and will plead with them there for my people. Okay, so that's how he's going to plead with them. All the stuff he's doing, what's going on now, the Lord's avenging his people by World War III and destroying this place and bringing it. And by way of doing that, he's going to bring the kingdom, the kingdom's here through us, but it's going to be established and be built, established through the Spirit of the Most High and the Lord, right? But it's going to be built by heathens, strong with the so-called white man. So the kingdom of heaven has already begun. All right? Because why? We see war brewing over there, which is the Most High's judgment, man. And again, Trump labeling the IRGC, which stands for what? Islamic Revolution Guard Corps, which is again part of, you could say, the National Guard of the Iranian government. He labeled them terrorists. Which now, anybody who does business with that, like we said before, does business with that part of the government, they're going to be labeled terrorists and sanctioned, which sanctions go into world wars or trade wars, you know, which is all I said, orchestrated by the elites to go into this war, you know. But again, it's the Most High doing this to bring his judgment because he's avenging his people. It says, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. You see, even though the Lord cursed us, it was actually the so-called white man who was responsible for us being scattered in the first place. Starting with really, when we're in Israel, I always forget the name, always goes my mind, but it was 70 AD, but was it Vespasian or
Titus Domitian and Vespasian.
Okay, Titus Domitian Vespasian was the one who sacked or besieged the land or the people of Jerusalem, all right, in Israel, and we were there. Okay, so that's when the kind of the diaspora really happened in a major way. We had to literally flee out that land. Everybody, man. Either a lot of them died and a lot of them didn't flee. Most of them scattered to the west coast of Africa. It tells you that in the book of Babylon, Timbuktu, right? It tells you that where the Israelites scattered to, the west coast of Africa, right? But also all parts of the world, the diaspora, all right? And it was a so-called white man who was responsible for us being spread apart like that. It says, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and part of my land, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for the harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. And yeah, that goes into the Atlantic slave trade. You know, that when that was going on, you had slaves being traded over for textiles, for cloth and materials and marbles and certain victuals, man. You know, and we call it certain crops like sugarcane and whatever have you. Man, it was a big business. You know, guess what? Jacob wasn't getting paid for none of that. Israel wasn't getting paid for none of that. We were in slavery. All right. So that's prophecy. It says, "Yea, what did he have to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine, which represents America?" It says, "Will ye render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, I will return your recompense upon your own head." So the Lord's He's gonna pay you back. He's gonna avenge what happened to His people, man. By them, you bringing them over to slavery against their will, by you stealing them from their land and stealing their heritage. But most of all, well, not most of all, another point is you didn't fucking pay them. With that pertaining to verse 3, it says what? They have cast lots for my people. Weren't we sold on auction blocks in America? Is it not true that the Atlantic slave trade exists and that was a big traffic business? And you elites got major money. That's how you got set up, man, in a bigger way off of that. Okay? It says, right, for wine. Yeah, it says, sold a boy for a harlot and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Yea, what have you to do with me, or Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? Are you going to pay the Lord back for what you did to His people? No, you're not going to do it. Now you talk about, you got here in the news restitution or reparations to our people, which I haven't really looked into. It's all bullshit anyway. It's just people are smoking mirrors. Keep you busy. To keep you busy with
which they'll never do.
Yeah. They'll never do that shit.
I remember meaning if they wanted to do it, they won't be able to, right? Because I remember Pastor Hart, he was like, for them to do that, for everybody to get like $1 million, I think they would have to give everybody. It would total like $500 million. Or 500 trillion or some shit like that.
Trillion?
Which they can't do that. You know?
Yeah.
They're already in debt. They've got a debt of 20 trillion. You think they're gonna fucking spend all that money?
And that's only part of it. The real debt is really like 68 trillion, I think, you know?
Oh yeah, well, no, it's like 200 trillion. Actually, yeah, it's like 200. The real debt, you're right. The real debt is like, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's like 200 trillion. You know?
See? Wow. You know what, man? Anyway. Damn. Hey, Bob. Alright, man. So, you know, man, all right, because it says, because you have taken my silver and my gold and have carried them into your temples and my building pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and you will return your recompense upon your own head. So the Lord said, where you scattered my people, which is the majority of it in the Americas, but we're all over the world. Well, not majority, I can't say that. We're all over the world scattered abroad, right? So He said in the lands that you've driven them, He's going to raise them up. And that's what's happening, man. Is it not true you got many camps in America? Is it not true you got camps in Australia, a camp in Alaska, a camps in the islands, a camps in London? You know? You got camps all over the world, man. The Lord reigns true, man. He's raising His people up, His prophets up all over the world, man.
I remember there was at camp with the apostles, there was somebody from, I think it was Iran, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Iran that checked in. He was like, hey, shalawam, we're brothers in Iran. You know? Yep. So it's everywhere.
Yeah, we got Israelites over there in Iran. We got Israelites scattered in Afghanistan, in the Middle East. You know? All over the world, man. They're Israelites. Guess what? The Lord's going to raise them up in each land that they're in. So, man, it's a wrap for you. It's over. Okay, so it says, I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to the people far off, for the Lord hath spoken it. Verse 9, it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. Now that goes into, basically, that plowshares goes into agriculture and tools to cultivate your land for crops. You know, that's where you get a lot of exports in America and these countries, because a lot of these countries you do exports with their mineral resources, like wherever it is, like bananas or mangoes or sugarcane, or poppy seeds, whatever, you know. That's what these other countries do, but no longer they're going to be doing that because they were doing that in efforts to do business with America, the great harlot. But now what these nations are doing, they're building up their weaponry, or excuse me, changing their posture into military weapons now to get ready for war. That's why you have now India has nuclear missiles, China, Pakistan has nuclear. All these small countries.
Let the weak say I'm strong.
Let the weak say I'm strong. You know. It says, "Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause the mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat." Okay, again, see, the valley of the Most High's judgment, Yahawashi. All right, the valley of the Most High judgment. This judgment is going to be seen all over the world, on America, on the land of Israel, and in the Middle East. Okay. So it says, it says, let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for they will sit, for they will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. You damn right, the Most High is going to be in a chariot with the Lord. He's going to come back. The Lord's going to come back on earth, but you best believe the Most High is going to be in the chariot out there too, man. I believe Apostle Paul said that. Okay, you know, get into that. That the Most High's presence will be here. Through his son also, and through his men on earth, and in the missiles, everywhere. It says, so I lost my place. It says, "For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about, but put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for the wickedness is great." Meaning there's going to be a big killing. Sickle means to kill. All right, which means the harvest is ripe, means there's a lot of killing that is going to be done in the last days, or a lot of death. All right, so Moses is coming here to cause mass death on this planet Earth, basically to exterminate all the wicked, because this is his home and this is his throne. He's come to claim his throne on earth and to put his name out there, man, because it's not known on the earth, but it will be. The Most High is moving in. Okay? And just like when you renovate a home and you're about to move into a new apartment, what do? It got roaches and rats. What do? You renovate it. Excuse me, you exterminate the roaches and rats. So the Lord's coming back to exterminate the wicked from this kingdom that's going to be built on earth. It says, "For the press is full, the fats overflow. For the wickedness is great." Yeah, because the fats overflow, because this is going to be a great sacrifice too. All these killings, you know, and there's going to be a fire involved. You know, the lasers going to be shooting, the chariots, the holy chariots are going to be shooting lasers and fire from them. There's going to be nuclear missiles burning this land, kind of cleanse it with fire, purify it, you know. It says, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shine. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people, and the strength of the children of Israel. So shall ye know that I am the Lord your power, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through it and hear her anymore. So basically the Lord's going to come back and save his people. He's going to set up the children of Jerusalem, which is Jerusalem in Hebrew, the Israelites, Yahawah, with our Lord, our Savior, Yahawashi, claiming his throne on earth, and spreading his name and the Heavenly Father's name, and setting the kingdom of heaven on earth. Starting with you so-called white people, you Edomites, starting with the nation of Edom, and you're the nation building it up. But a lot of death is going to happen. A lot of killing is going to happen first, first according to the scriptures. And the Lord's going to be with us forever, and we're not going to be taken up out of our policy forever, man. You know. So so hey, with that we just shalom to all the brothers in the comment boards. Thawada, with the spirit of Yahawashi. We thank Yahawashi for letting us do his show, bringing out this word from his spirit. Okay, Thawada for the brothers in the comment boards watching the show and make the comments, bring the scriptures. All right. Shalom to Apostle Tahari, supposed to be Apostle Ramla, be stopped by and saw Shalom. But anyway, we like to say all praise to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Dash. We give double honors to our apostle of GMS, double honors to the apostles, double honors to the Canadian elder to GMS. All right, and greetings and salutations to you brothers out there, preaching this word in sincerity and truth in this country and all over the world in the name of Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. All right, so see you in the next show. Shalom.